So this video is going to concentrate on the B hand shape. Now some of the hand shapes, after I started thinking about it, kind of combine some, that they're a B, open B, and a bent B, but anyways, there's some specific ones, so sometimes I get them kind of mixed together, but that's okay. So anyway, so the first one that we're going to have a bent is, we already did like pray, and I never considered this bent. It's, you know, it's open B, but it's a combination. And the next one is heavy. We did carry, but when you do heavy, then you have something that's looks like you're carrying something that's larger and heavier, and you do a more of a big something like it's heavy. But if you just carry it, it's not heavy. You see the difference, right? Okay, introduce. That is a bent B hand shape. Is to introduce, to welcome. When you say, oh, thank you, you're welcome, or hey, oh, you're welcome to come to my party, or welcome, or I want to introduce my friend, I want to introduce my husband. So those are the things that you would use that sign for, introduce. The next one is how, and everyone has an issue with how to make the sign for how. It not only is it a bent B, but it curls, and there's not really a name for that one. So this is the sign. So remember I said that both hands do the same thing. So the original sign for how, remember we have our hands like this, put them like this, is both of them to curl around, because they do the same thing. But nobody does that. Usually the hand that you write with, and I'm right-handed, my right hand is going to just move out and just turn upside down. How. Instead of doing how, if you're left-handed, it's how. It's how. How. I don't know why that's the sign, but that is how. So how are you? How. How are you going to do that? How. How. Well, I'm going to do that, how. How. It's not a hard one. We took our B, we bent it, we kind of curled it, we put our knuckles together and just move it out. It doesn't have to go all the way around. Sometimes I show you those signs so that if you learn it this way, then you're going to, get your own little accent. You're only going to go part way. If I show you part way, then you're just going to do this. So it's better to kind of learn to make that movement stronger than it is to do it the way I do it, because I learned it like this. So this way, because I don't want you to go like this. How. Okay. Separate. So we have our bent B. Let me curl it, and then we're going to separate. Separate, kind of like how, correct? But we're going to separate. This could be any kind of separation in any connotation, because you're taking things apart. You're taking this and you're taking this. They were together, now they're apart. And remember, we did this is together, with and then together. Separate. It's different, obviously, than divide. To separate and divide. Think conceptually and think about those words. I keep a thesaurus with me all the time. I used to have a pocket one to put it in my purse, and now, of course, you can look everything up on your phone. And I have a big one behind me so I can look up stuff. Okay, bent B. Hope, anticipate, expect. Sandwich. So we have our bent B's. And then I'm right-handed, so you use the hand that you write with, and you're going to put it in a sandwich. This is all your, all the things in your sandwich, and you're going to put, and this is your bread, and you're going to put it in there, and you're going to eat your sandwich. So the hand that you write with becomes all the ingredients in your sandwich, your meat, your lettuce, tomato, whatever, condiments, whatever. And then your left hand, or the hand that you don't write with, is your bread. And you put all the you put everything inside the bread. And then you eat your sandwich. So that's sandwich. Okay. Responsibility. And you usually go down because you think about burdens or how it would weigh you down if you put bricks and things like that. Now, this would be the sign for burdens. And you have burdens and you lift it up. But this is responsibility. And if you do it like this, they're going to think it's in the past because that's how most people do it instead of going in the past. But responsibility. I have responsibilities. I got to pay the bills, or I'm responsible for this, that, and the other. Obligation. That's another word. Okay. A bent B. Have. I possess it. Blanket. Blanket. And you can do the quilt. You can even do, the G hand shape, the Q for quilt. Blanket. A sheet. Something to cover up with. But it's mostly a blanket. Sometimes it's in context. Bent B. Tired. Tired. When you can be exhausted, but if I'm just so worn out, then you do tired and all that energy you had is out there. It's gone. Tired. So this is just tired, and this is just exhausted. Blouse, shirt. Youth, young, and that's because there's more blood rushing through the veins. Young. Someone who's youthful or whatever. Tiptoe. I would probably do tiptoe, because that's just more fun, right? And we already did like a balance with the scale. When we weigh something, balance. We can also do balance, and the scales. We're weighing something, making a decision. Build. There's a lot of construction on the roads, or the buildings. Construction. Not this, whatever, but we did that for whatever. Now we're building, it's going up. Okay. Process. We've done a lot of this, like generational, going back here, kind, and a process. Process. And you can see how when you do your hands, this and this and this and this, that it's a continuation or some type of motion of how things go. You do this, and then you do this, and you do this, and you do this, and you do this. It's a process. But when you do it slower like that, it's step by step by step. But when you do it faster, it's a process. Procedure. When we did like exceed, you've exceeded, here's the bar, and you've gone above and beyond that. Exceed. Oh, you didn't do what was expected of you. Okay. We did this even, or it can also be flat, like flat land, or I want that table flat, or that countertop flat. We already did this for easy, remember? We've done some of these before that I've shown you. Short, little, still a bent B, small. If you're trying to do a size, that's that one. But now I want a smaller one to go with it. Whatever. Okay. To reduce, like if it's here, but you need to reduce it. Whatever that's the word for reduce. Reduce. Sometimes I can't think of a sentence until later. Okay. This is the sign for doctor or a nurse, some sort of medical personnel, even a paramedic, because they're feeling your pulse. But that's the real sign, and I see it still a lot. But sometimes if I want to specify, especially when I was interpreting in the medical field, I needed to specify what that person was. Were they a doctor, a D? Were they a nurse, N? They were talking about being brought in an ambulance. Oh, did a paramedic take care of you? So all of those initials on there are still the same. But if you're just but you get your bent B and feel your pulse. That is a doctor or nurse or paramedic. That's someone who is medically trained. You understand? It's not like someone with a doctorate degree, PhD. This is a medically trained doctor, nurse, or paramedic. And that's the general sign, but we initialize it with doctor and nurse, paramedic, or your PA, PA. Sometimes I'll just spell it PA. Okay. Soap. And scrape it. You have a fish and you have to scrape the scales off. Again. See, it's a bent B. Again. 1,000. This is 100. This is 1,000. 1,000,000. 1,000,000,000. But some people don't keep up with it, so I'll spell it if I get, or even million and billion, so 1,000 or however many thousand. This is 1,000, 1,000, 2,000. We already did frequently, the bent B. We did excuse, a bent B. We already did some of these. Cereal, to eat cereal. Mortgage. A lot of times I still do payments, like a monthly payment. I think we already did this one with our one handshape, our rent, our monthly payments. Instead of doing that as a mortgage and then we paid off, kids all paid off. List. So remember, this is our concrete, something that's written on or documented. Bent B. And we go down with our list. We have a grocery list. We have a list of chores. There's a list of things to do. List. You can also do list, especially when it gets really long. I have a long list of things to do. But most of the time, this is just a list. Bread, then B, and we're going to cut it. This is our bread, and then we're going to just slice it. This is our bread. England or English. Not British, but English. Slow. When someone's signing, you're going, oh, again, slow. Slow. Remember we did pet? Slow. But you do it at that pace. Slow. Not slow. Can you do it slow? Slow. And then pet. We did that yesterday. Or the video I made yesterday. From now on. That's not like going forward, but from now on. And sometimes you have to really think about some of these signs of how they're used. And now, what is that again? This is forward and this is from now on. I mean, if you're learning and you're talking to a deaf person, you have an opportunity again and again to say what you need to, and they'll ask you what, and so you can explain yourself, and then they'll show you the sign. Night. Remember we did the last video, we did morning, noon, afternoon, and then we do our bent one for night, and then we did overnight, all night. Remind. This is your person. And your bent B, and you're reminding that person. Oh, remind me, or I need to remind you. I need to remind someone. Reminding you. So this is to remind. Bury, cemetery. It's the mound of dirt over a grave. See, remember, it's our bent B's. I'm not changing the hand shape. Sometimes it seems like it. It's like, how are you doing that? But if you stay with that hand shape, then you're able to, oh, I just have my hand shape. And then you're able to look at it and see it a little bit better. Okay, remember we did set up or to install. Now we're going to like erect something. We're going to start out here and like, they're erecting a statue. I don't use that one much, like erect a building. If I'm saying that they're going to erect a statue, I may still do this one. but it's an option. You have options, so I like that. To send a package, oh my gosh, I bought that, I opened up the box and it was wrong. I'm sending it back. And if you'll notice, we've had every single one of those signs. And I just told you a little story. Okay. Also, if I'm getting referred from a doctor, it's the same sign, but now I'm initializing. It's the same sign actually. I just initialize it to R for referral. See, it's the same action. Send, refer, same action. Okay. To reject or cast off, I still see that. Instead of just always doing reject, sometimes you do need to reject. This is like, no, I don't like that, or which movie you want to go see? Do you want to see that one? But this is to cast off or to reject as well. So it's a little bit more. I think this one is a little bit more slang in that sense, and this is more of like, oh, you're rejecting or casting off something. Okay. And that's it for the bent B. So it was a lot less than the open B, but enjoy and practice. And when I think of some sentences, I'll put them in the comments. So have a good day.